Nixie, new deal for Dan Curtin. Probably not too surprised, he's had a pretty good season.
He has had a great season, yeah. A pleasant surprise that Dan's invested and that he wants to be here for longer. I know there was a really good reaction this morning from the playing group when we announced it to them, and probably an even better one from his coach when he announced it to me. So, yeah, really pleased. He's obviously still got a long way and a lot to work on, and hopefully it's a long career ahead of him with the Adelaide Footy Club.
Why was it a surprise?
Well, not a surprise, just a pleasant surprise in that you want your best players to stay at the footy club. Probably the wrong word I've used in that. Yeah, it's one we've been looking at for obviously a period of time since he arrived at the footy club, and you want to make the timing right on these things, but you just never know with young players from different states, and we want to do the right thing. Our culture is something we're really proud of, and he's embraced that and been a big part of it, so we're really pleased to have him want to be here for longer.
It feels like he's found a home on a wing, and yet he's obviously so versatile as well. Is it a case where you think he's eventually moves around somewhere else again because he's a bit risk of something?
We actually still don't know what position he's going to finish in, or whether he'll be one of those players that has so much flexibility that we can use him in different spots. But the most pleasing part for us is he's embraced every challenge we've put to him so far, and he just wants to keep learning and wants to be a better footballer, and he has a competitive part to him that we love, and so everywhere we've put him he's had a crack at it. It hasn't been perfect, but I think everyone's seeing the growth and the potential of where he might get to. So he's a big-bodied, hard-working professional who in time maybe ends up in the midfield. I mean, he's in there as a wingman, but maybe as an on-baller. Again, we just don't know at this point, and we're not going to lock it in.
Was the go-home factor a genuine concern at any stage?
Well, not from the work that we've done, but there's always a factor there of, it's hard to be taken away from family and where you've grown up and what you know, and the challenge of being in a new state as an 18-year-old, young man. And so there's always that factor there, no matter what team you're looking at and what footy club. But again, we'll come back to what we feel we've done really well, and what we continue to work on is how we welcome our players in and how they become part of the family that is the Adelaide Crows. And we're doing a lot of work on that. We'll continue to try and improve in it, but that's part of becoming that sort of destination club that you want players to be at.
What needs to change from the first half of the season in the second and the run home to hopefully finals?
Well, not a lot from our process. From what we've been working through, we've lost some games and we've got a lot still to work on, but there's no major standout at this point. We went to work on some of our, our scores against earlier in the season. We were able to bring that back to an acceptable area, which gave us a few results. We know the challenge now is it's only going to get tougher as the season comes towards the end, and we just continue to work on process. Our ability to stay in the moment, not get lost in a lot of the noise, which will begin to come, as more and more teams play and everyone looks at the mathematical who can finish where and so on. We're locked in on, this weekend and how we go about a performance that'll give us an outcome, and that's simple. It's boring for most people out there, but process gets it done for us.
So to give you scores against, how big is Nick Murray rather coming back in?
Well, he's back playing, Muzz. I don't think he'll play this weekend. We've still got to train, but I don't think he'll play in the AFL this weekend. We're going to be really cautious there and give him enough time to get his balance back, to get his game, his touch, make sure that we're ready, that he's ready. We've also got a group that are performing reasonably well. Jordan Butts has done a great job, holding down that sort of key defender, and then releasing Keane to play a slightly different role in Worrell. But yeah, he's an important part of our defensive stability. As far as their scores against, he's going to be an important part of our second half of the year.
Did you bring him back too soon last time?
We don't know, no. I mean, he had a couple of little setbacks where, he jarred the knee, and, so whether he would have maybe done that at a lower level where the speed's not quite as fast, there's all things we look at. At the moment, we're in a position where, the luxury we have of our guys performing, we don't feel we need to rush him back in. So we will just limit the risk there. There's always a risk though. He's playing football at SANFL level, which is still a fast game of footy. So, but he feels great. He's done a hell of a lot of work on not just getting that part of his body right, but even working on his landings. He's done a bit of work with Sassy, and to his credit, has gone above and beyond to try and make sure that he feels confident and should feel confident in his body.
What did Dubai do for the group?
I think physically it gave us a chance to freshen up. We were 14 games straight. Our guys work hard, they train hard through pre-season, but there's a point around about that sort of 13, 14, 15 mark where it starts to become quite draining week to week. So from a physical point of view, our guys got a really good break, 2 weeks where we still trained reasonably hard throughout that, but you never get to the levels of a 4-quarter game in your break. And then you get the mental break as well, where they're able to, switch off a little from performing on a game day, get themselves prepared in other areas. And our guys went to work, and we'll see how we come back on Sunday. It's a tough one because there's been a bit of a mixed bag of the way teams have come back. Some have performed really well off the bye, and some are a little slow to start.
Do you expect Luke Pedler to be available?
We still have to wait for Peds to train today. So depending on how he warms up and works through our sort of pre-training, whether he gets himself up and going. It's another one where Peds longer term is going to be a really important one for us, and if it is that he needs to miss one possibly to limit risk of missing 4, then we will make that decision.
Peter's more straightforward.
Yeah, JP will come back in, everything going well to that training.
Any other changes? Fill us in on?
Well, we're hoping there's not too many more. I mean, as I mentioned, Peatling's available, but when you train and at the level we do, we never get ahead of ourselves. We won't finalise our side until after the session. Make sure everyone comes in, pulls up well, and then occasionally we'll have a look at something over the next 48 hours into the game. But we'll look at sort of putting our team together after.
Rory Laird and Taylor Walker have both spoken pretty glowingly about Charlie Edwards this week in the media and for the club's media. Is he a chance to make a debut? Yeah,
well deserved. He's playing some great footy. We're confident that if the opportunity showed itself for Charlie, that he would, that he's AFL ready, that he'll come in. Now, there's always that challenge. The step up's huge. At this point in time, it won't be this week. And that's probably more so what we have in that position. He's playing behind the ball for us, and the 7 players that are performing well there. Brody Smith's, another one that's been playing a different role for us, but could come into that spot. So that'll just be he's ready to go if the opportunity's right, and we just keep asking him to perform at SANFL.